Hey, what's going on, G-Dot family? We're back at it with another video, and we're going straight into analyzing every NFC and AFC division to see which one is the best and which one had the best draft class. But we're going to see right now what's going on with the NFC North because, of course, I got to start off with the Bears. We had a great, amazing draft. Got to give a big bomb for that. I'm loving it. Loving this draft. Now, what I will say is I am a little disappointed we didn't go a little more on defense, but we made for it up in the later round. So let's start it off hot. We got Dylan Thieneman in the first round, safety out of Oregon. He is a dog. If you have seen any Oregon games this year, and of course you probably have because Oregon was always a name to watch. That he was a dog. He came from Purdue. He was the only good player on Purdue to leave, go to another team, ball out on Oregon, and then get into the first round of the draft. Excuse me, pardon me. And I really like him. Strong, physical, fast, and that's something we've been trying to get on both sides of the ball: speed and discipline. And I feel like he embodies that, but also he's going to be a good upgrade on Jaquan Brisker, and he's also going to be a good pairing with Kobe Bryant. So I'm loving that signing. Then we got Logan Jones at center. Now, Logan Jones at center is a good pick because we already did sign a center after our center retired, but I do feel like that this is going to be an amazing pick for us as well because we have some competition in that room. Now we have someone that can battle it out and possibly start his rookie year. So if our center that we just signed for or traded for gets hurt, then we can actually have a backup. And he can be a long-term piece that we can have an in-house center down the line. You always want to have in-house people. You never want to be able to, have to sign out for or go to another team or trade to another team for any position. Always want to have in-house talent. So that's what the draft is good for. Then we got Sam Rush out of Stanford, tight end. Great pick because we're going to be running more 13 personnel. So with the 13 personnel being more of a hot commodity in the league, we need 3 tight ends. And we have Cole Kmet, we have Colston Loveland. Now we got Sam Rush, and that's going to be perfect for what we're trying to build. Because honestly, a lot of times last year we're in a run-heavy set, doing play action or just running the ball down the throat, and we're going to need that. Now, on the back end, going back to the third round, again, for 25th pick, we got Xavier Thomas. Dynamic, explosive, gadget player, and a good return man. We don't really have a return man right now, so I think that's mostly what he's going to be used for. But it also offers some competition in the wide receiver room, and he can be groomed into a proper NFL wide receiver by the people that we got in there. Roma Doomsday, the person we just traded for from the Lions. We also have Luther Burden. We got, I forgot the other guy, got his name. But he made the game-winning catch against the Packers this year. We have a lot of good pieces in that wide receiver room. He's going to be an addition onto that. Now, Malik Muhammad. I really like this pick. I really like this player because he's a great corner. I don't even know why he was still available in the 4th round. But it's amazing that we picked him because now that offers some competition with Tyreek Stevenson on the back end. And, in case anybody gets hurt, whether that's Tyreek Stevenson or Jalen Johnson, we're going to have a not a returning piece, but a rotational piece that can come in, get some good plays, get some good reps, and develop into maybe a homegrown talent that we've been needing. So, corner is always going to be a position that you need in this league, especially with all the high-flying receivers that you got nowadays, especially in the NFC with Justin Jefferson, St. Rob Brown, and even the Packers have like some sneaky good receivers. So you got to be on top of that. Keyshawn Elliott, I feel like is more of a depth piece. In my opinion, the reason I say Keyshawn Elliott is more of a depth piece because we already just signed for a linebacker in Deion Bush, and we have some in-house talent in linebacker too. So I feel like it's a depth piece, but it's also going to allow us to, how can I put this, add some more competition to the room too. So I feel like that's great on our end for getting him. Jordan Van Denberg is a great pick for the 6th round as well. Surprised he was still available in the 6th round. Didn't know who he was at first, but if you watch the tape, great player, physical, fast, aggressive, a technician. He gets it done. And then I also watched him play inadvertently last year because when Colorado played Georgia Tech at the beginning of the year, I watched that game. He was a problem. I just didn't know who he was. So that was a great pick by the Bears all the way around. And we got pretty much all of our needs. We got everything that we needed from that draft. Honestly, like I said, got a pass rusher, but we did get a D tackle, and I believe that the Bears are betting on the D tackles the pass rushers and the D ends that they have already. So I can't really be mad at that. So hey, shout out to the Bears to do what they had to do. They get a little bomb for that once again. Bear down at all times. But we're going to go straight into the Lions. Now, even though I am a Bears fan, I will be very honest about what I think with the Lions and all these other teams. Now, With the Lions, I believe they had a good draft as well, an okay draft. They needed to hit some positions desperately on the offensive line and the defensive line, and they really got to that within the first two picks. Blake Miller needed a new tackle after the tackle. I think he retired or he's considering retirement. He definitely needed somebody that could come step in, be another cornerstone on their offensive line because you got a statue back there in Jared Goff. At least Caleb Williams can move. Jared Goff can't move. So you need somebody that can protect them. So they had to spend a first round pick on a tackle. And Clemson, they had a lot of bad spots, but he was a bright spot on that Clemson offense. Now, Derek Moore, edge out of Michigan, dog, physical, not really a Michigan guy, Michigan State fan, but I will admit when you have a dog, and he was a good pick in round two. Now, he was definitely going to be available in round two. He wasn't a first round talent, but he was definitely a day two, round two talent. We'll give him that. Like his play, and I feel like that helps that they need somebody that they can pair with their defensive end. I forgot his name. Called Aiden Hutchinson. And so they definitely need someone they can pair with him just to get some more depth in the position and get on the quarterback because that's what they really thrive off of, blitzing and putting pressure on you. So they needed that. They also got a linebacker out of Michigan, Jimmy Rolder. Very good. Excuse me, I got a little tongue tied. Very good player. I like his game, and I feel like that's just another depth piece that they needed because they have a good linebacker duo right now, I believe, but there's nothing that helps more than having competition in the room. And they also just, never know what you might need down the line because injuries do happen, and you just want someone to come in, be a homegrown talent, and then actually pay him the money instead of getting a trade or having to take a risk on him. Now, Keith Abney the second is a corner, and I honestly thought they were going to go corner sooner than that because the corner that they have right now, they drafted, I think, 2 years ago from Alabama. Forgot his name, but he has the podcast. He's all right. That's the best way I can put it. He's all right, but they spent a high draft pick on him, and I think they want him to be more than all right. So this draft pick is pretty much putting some pressure on him like, hey, step up your game or get left behind. And I think he's going to step up his game, truthfully. I don't think he's going to be too much of a slouch with Keith and Abney on his ass because Keith Abney is a good player. I ain't gonna say he's great, but he's a solid player. And if he gets coached the right way, he can turn into a great player. Kendrick Law from Kentucky, I would say, he's alright. I feel like that was a good piece for them because Amon St. Rob Brown's always gonna be the focal piece, but they did lose Khalif Raymond and the back end with losing to us, the Bears, bear down. So I feel like Kendrick Law, he offers a lot. But it's just a depth piece. I feel like they got some other people on that team that will be better than Kendrick Law, but you never know. He might be wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Skylar Gill Horton, Texas Tech D tackle, very good D tackle. He was also on the line that went to the college football playoffs. Very good D line, very good defense. Not really surprised here. They definitely need more depth on the defensive line. That's what they did with the 6th and 7th pick against Tyree West out of Tennessee as well. So if I had to grade this all in all, I would say it's a B. I'll say it's about a B. I like what they did. I actually give it a C plus just because I don't like the linebacker pick at 4, and I also don't like taking two D tackles in the 6th or 7th round. But or the wide receiver pick really, but I can understand some of these things. So I'll grade that a C plus. And of course the Bears get an A. They get a C plus. Now we're gonna go on to the Green Bay Packers. Now, of course, I hate the Packers. They didn't really have much of a draft because they traded for Micah Parsons. So we're going to see what they get. Now, before we go to grading the Packers draft, they get, just let it happen. Wait for it. They do. Because that's what we do every time we see a Packers fan. Now, we got a corner, and that's something they needed because their corners were dog shit last year. If you watch any of the Packers games, they needed a corner. And they couldn't get a first-round talent, but they did get a solid talent in the second round in Brandon Cease. And I feel like it was a good pick. Like I said, corners last year were dog shit. They didn't really have a lot of talent on that end. And with the high-flying receivers and an evolution of the pass offense, you need solid corners. If you don't have solid rotational corners or a solid corner period, you're done for. Then they went D tackle to ask somebody to help Michael Parsons as far as getting the rush on, and getting the attention off of him when it comes to pass rush. Can't really be mad at that. Mizzou had a really, really good defense this year, and I'm not mad at that pick at all. Danny Dennis-Sutton, edge Penn State, also another pick that's going to help Michael Parsons out, and he's a Penn State guy. Michael Parsons is a Penn State guy. Should be a connection there, and he just needed some more depth at the position because you need people that are going to help get to the pass because you went all in on Michael Parsons so you can affect the pass rush and get more turnovers and make the defense more explosive and elite. So if that's what you're going for, you need to build around that, and that's exactly what they are getting edge from Penn State. Now they got a center in Jacob Burton. Can't go wrong with that. Center is always a needy position, and they honestly ended up hitting that on the head. I feel like Jacob Burton is a solid center. It's going to take a couple years for him to be starting, but I feel like he's a solid center. Domani Jackson, another corner. We already went over why they needed to load up on corners, and he played on the Alabama team. I was okay on defense. At times, elite and solid. I mean, at times elite, but for the most part, pretty solid. And then they got a kicker out of Florida, and they needed a kicker more than anything because the current kicker is getting old. They need someone that can come in and take the reins when it is time. You know, the kicker's lifespan is either really long or really short. Never know how it's going to be for him, but hopefully he has the best career. I'm going to rate this draft a C. You know, it was good value for what it was worth, but I feel like the players they picked, they could have got some better players, especially in round 4 and round 6 with the kicker. So that's just my opinion on it, but they definitely get a solid C for their draft. Now we're going to go to the last team in the division that we're going to talk about, and that's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings had a very solid draft, I feel like, and they added some pieces. I feel like they compete with the Bears as far as having one of the best drafts in the NFL. Because we're going to start off with Caleb Banks, D tackle. You know, their defense is aggressive, and Caleb Banks is aggressive. Brian Flores loves running man coverage. He loves running the blitz. He loves getting after it, and that's what Caleb Banks does. And he's going to offer a lot to that defensive line because they already got solid edges. They need some help in the D tackle position, and they address that immediately. Now they got Jake Galladay as a linebacker. They already have a solid linebacker. I forgot his name, but he's a solid piece. And Jake Galladay. Jake Galladay is a solid piece as well. I don't think he'll be a day one starter, but I feel like he will get some work into the rotation. And if he has a great preseason, he may end up defying the odds and becoming a day one starter. But you never know. Then they have Dominic Orange, another D tackle. We already addressed that. They needed some help because they already have edges, so they got 2 D tackles. Maybe there's the 2 starting D tackles come opening day. Not, but it's definitely a good rotational piece. He was pretty solid at Iowa State. Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle. They need somebody that can help anchor that O line down because I ain't gonna lie to you. What's his name? Forgot his trash ass name. Y'all know his name. I don't even care about his name. Their quarterback last year sucked. And a lot of that was on him, but a lot of that was because he was getting pressured a lot. And now they have Kyler Murray, so there's going to be a difference out there because, you know, you don't have a rookie quarterback that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So you're going to have a vet back there now, and it's going to be easier for him to adjust to that line and just helps boost. Now we have Jacoby Thomas, safety out of Miami, dog, physical, aggressive, gets the job done, wants to hurt people. That's what he wants to do. When I watch him play, anybody on the Miami defense, honestly, he wants to hurt people. And they needed that with the retirement of Harrison Smith. Even if Harrison Smith didn't retire, he just old as hell. He just needs to start working in his replacement. And there's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Harrison Smith, but hey, it happens. Now they have Max Bredson, fullback out of Michigan, and that just tells me that the Vikings are going to go more power style this year because if you're getting a fullback, that means you're going to run the ball. There is no ifs, ands, buts about that. You're going to run the ball. You don't get a fullback for pass blocking. Not how it goes down. You got the fullback because you want to run a damn ball. So that offers a little insight to what the Vikings are going to be here. So with that in mind, I like that pick. Charles Demings, another corner. Oh, a corner, not another corner. A corner, another DB, and then that's going to help on the back end with the defense because, you know, the defense definitely needs that help. They're strong, aggressive, physical. They need to probably rotate corners in and out because they're going to be playing really aggressive and people are going to get hurt. So that just happens sometimes. They got Dedmon Claiborne. Not gonna lie, sleeper pick in the draft. He's a really good player. If you ever seen him play at Wake Forest, super good, super elusive back. I really like his game. I really like his style. I feel like this is gonna be a good pick for them because the current running back that they have is old. They need some youth in there. They need somebody who's gonna shake some things up. And you know, just because it's a late pick doesn't mean it's not a good pick. And they got another. Well, they didn't get a center in another center. And David Gavin Gerhardt, and centers for Cincinnati. Solid piece. I'm liking it. Can't never go wrong picking a center, especially in the 7th round. Someone to hunker down at O-line. So all in all, I would rate this an A. I'll be honest with you. I would definitely rate this an A. And all Kyler Murray has to do is play halfway decent, and the Vikings are in the playoffs. Honestly, if we're being honest about it, I feel like the Vikings are definitely going to be in it as long as they play halfway decent. I feel like how the season is going to go, if I had to rank the division as far as who's going to be first and who's going to be last, I would say, of course, the Bears are going to be first. After that, I'm honestly going to put the Vikings. After that, I'm put the Lions and the Packers. I don't believe in Jordan Love. Actually, I'm going to put the Packers and the Lions. I believe in Jordan Love more than I believe in Jared Goff. Just being 100% true. But those are my rankings. Let me know what you think. And I really appreciate this draft because we saw a lot of good talent get picked. Next season is going to be a move.